Yo, what's good? It's your boy Low, man, and we are back for another video slash podcast. Man, this one, I guess you could say it's going to be one that I just want to get off my chest. I recently just finished the latest couple of episodes of Insecure, where, if you don't follow the show, shout out to Issa Rae for being a wonderful creator of the show. And man, they've been showing some really good stuff this season. They're in the fourth season of the show. I also heard they just got renewed, so congratulations to y'all on that. But here's my thing, man. So Molly and Issa have been best friends forever and a day. And man, now we're getting to season 4 where we're starting to see they're both coming into their own. Molly was really cool when Issa needed her to be like her, I like to say her other parent or her chaperone, so to speak. But now that Issa is starting to get herself together, she's not focused on trying to have a man and trying to please no dude like that. And she's kind of focusing on herself. And in the midst of that, she's really just kind of going after what she wants for herself, which is huge. And a lot of people don't do enough of that. We don't go through life where we focus on the things that fulfill us, and then we can give that extra energy or that other side of us to somebody else. Well, let's look at Molly and Issa's relationship. In this season, adulting is already hard. I mean, nobody really gives you the blueprint for adulting. They just tell you that there's going to come a time in your life where there's going to be some responsibilities and some things that you got to do. Even when it comes to sex and all that stuff, people say, don't get pregnant. You don't want you're not ready to take care of a child. All these things, don't drink because you're not mature enough to handle that. So you get all these precautionary, instructions. But nobody really ever just stops and says, yo, let's really talk about what lies ahead. It's like if you're, traveling somewhere and, at the end of the day, you got this hazardous, patch of road or this rocky stretch. And they're like, oh, it's not a bad trip. But, it gets a little challenging sometimes. That ain't telling me I got half a road to ride on. And if I waver just a half of an inch, I could fall to my destruction. It ain't that type of instruction. You know what I'm saying? I know, like my dad said, one day you're going to have to pay bills. You're going to do all these things. You're going to have to take care of your family, all those kind of talks. But adulting, man, it ain't nothing like till you get in it. And then if you made some bad choices, like some bad financial decisions and things of that nature, man, life can get really, really serious really, really fast. So Molly and Issa are on this journey, man. They've been friends for a while. And man, I was watching this and I really found myself relating to the scenario that they got going on, man, because for somebody like when I was in school, man, I was well known, man. I hate to say it like that, but yes, I was a popular kid. But I was popular due to the fact, man, that I did a lot of different things within the school, from sports to organizations to just, being talented, winning the talent show and doing all kind of things. And one of the biggest things that my parents always taught me was that everybody deserves to be treated fairly and treated, with respect. So I talk to everybody, man. I talk to the ravers. I talk to, the jocks, the preps, Asian culture, man, whatever was at my school, man, I fool with it, man. I mean, I even, the Pokemon card kids, man, I talk to everybody. And, that gave me a different vantage point into all these different cultures, right? So, growing up, you have friends, you have people that you fool with, and you got people that you really fool with, like your crew. And Molly and Issa was like that. They were crew, man. Like they families, her brother and all that, man. They fool with each other, like Thanksgiving holiday type fool. And now that they kind of are getting into the space where Issa is starting to become more successful, and some of her things that she's working towards are actually coming to fruition. Molly is having a hard time adjusting because Issa doesn't need Molly like she did before. And that's a lot of times how we are in life, man. People are good with you as long as you play second fiddle. But once you start moving into your own, where you are your own person and you don't need to borrow nothing from them, you not their charity case, man, it's hard for people to move on, man. It's hard to see you in that new light because they don't want you to ever really do better than what they want you to do or what they are doing. And this latest episode, man, it all came to a bubble, and Issa was like, "Well, dang, man, like, if we really were best friends, why wouldn't you support me in the most dire time? Like, I'm at a cusp of something in my life where if I can make this happen, everything that falls behind this curtain is going to be life changing for me going forward. Like you've seen me struggle to hold a job, you've seen me struggle to try to make, other dreams happen. This one is within my grasp. And when it's within my grasp, now all of a sudden you got problems and you want to put boundaries up about how you can support me. Now, just in case you hadn't watched it, I'm trying not to go too far into the story where I give it all away. I really want to just focus on the subject matter of what friendship in adulting is really like. Because, man, like I find myself saying this, and I just referenced my high school, um, what life was like for me in high school. Because at this point in my life, really the only people I consistently deal with or fool with are my family. Now I have people that I do know that if I run into them, it is what it is, man. What's good? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're prospering. I hope everybody is having a great life. But as far as me interjecting myself into your situation, there aren't many people in my life that I actually feel like I am concerned to the level that, you know, I want to be involved in. I want to be made aware of what you got going on. So, the people that you do fool with like that, you expect them to be down with you. Like if I invite you into my home, if I invite you into my circle where you around my family, you know good and well that I fool with you tough. If I bring my family to something that you have going on, you definitely know that I fool with you tough. And I have some frat brothers. I have some people, that have really exuded support and constant unmotivated connections to me and my family and my wife or whatever. So those people, like they have a little more access to what I am as a person per se than just people who are surface level. So watching this, and I'm seeing Molly and Issa go through this, reminded me of a very bad situation that I went through that was a lot like Issa and Molly. So a lot of times, man, I'm a person. My gift or my purpose to me is to create ways to bridge people to where they should be in life. And what I mean by that is I have the ability to be very creative, to be very strategic in seeing how people can engineer pathways to objectives that they want to complete and objectives that they want to obtain or their aspirations. So, with that, I am a lot of times vulnerable to the people that I'm working with or the people that I associate, with during certain projects that we're looking at, trying to build or develop. And man, I went through this situation one time where, I was providing a lot of opportunities financially, industry wise, networking wise, helping people who were wanting to be at a certain level and man, I brought him in. I mean, man, I opened the door, and it went from there. I thought we were building like proper friendships, like man, like to the point of brotherhood, man. And come to find out, man, when people start thinking you're doing better than what they want, or if they want to feel like they're entitled to what you're building, um, it gets a little tricky, man. And that's what happened with me. I was doing things, man, and I hate. I guess the best way I see it is there's a body, right? But there's only one head. You can have two hands, 2 feet, 2 legs, 2 arms, all these things, but some of the vital stuff is in solitude or select. What was it be right? It's only one of them. Yeah, we ain't got to get all deep. Uh, there's only one. So you have one brain, one head, one brain, one mouth. You have one nose, one heart. Whatever. But these things are vital to the overall functioning of the body. Now, you lose your brain or your head get damaged, it's gonna be rough. There's a high chance that you may not survive. You hurt your heart, same thing, right? So in building, uh, you know, I was developing opportunities for people, and I was, putting, like I said, I was providing, they were taking. Now they did render services, but a lot of times the services rendered were the things that you said you wanted to be known for in this industry. So within that measure, and I'm talking like, man, we had road of growth, and I mean like it was to the point where notoriety was growing, opportunities were growing, not only the ones that I was providing at the time, but also other opportunities from them being associated with the things that we were building. Now, what they wanted from me was to be as accessible as I was in the beginning stages, at the point of where we were when we were building and things was escalating. Now, in this episode, Issa is telling Molly, I'm working on this event that's very big. It could be beneficial to a lot of people. I'm sorry I'm not around as much. I'm sorry that I'm not as accessible as I once was. She was building new relationships that she needed to build and focus on. She was developing some things that, really needed to be developed. And then it came a time where Molly could really have shown how much she cared about the work that Issa was doing by just helping her. But then she said, you know what? I don't feel comfortable helping you this time around. I think we've come to the point where I need to stop giving you full access. I need to set some boundaries. So I don't want to give you full access to my entire life anymore. And, Issa was just like, wow, at this point, this is what we're doing. Like, this how we acting. And she said, I don't really fool with her no more. And, I can relate because, when you open yourself up and like, man, I know I make some mistakes, but like for the most part, man, we all know what we working towards building these goals. You got the dream job you want. Why I can't have the dream job I want? And like for me, I just want to be in a position where I can give people opportunities. I want to be able to help people make money. I want to be have the opportunity of making people dreams come true. I want people to be able to, sit down and develop, man, whatever it is about you that you want to build in this life. Listen, my grandfather always told me that life is so short. It's like cutting grass. You can grow. By the time you grow and it looks like you're flourishing and good, something's going to come along and chop you down, and then you're going to be gone like grass. And that's just how it is. By the time we get to the point that we really seeing the success we want to see, man, it's almost time for us to leave this earth. And a lot of times people we really forget that notion, man, that, man, this life it comes and goes so fast. But a lot of times, man, we live selfishly to the point where we don't discover like those things about ourselves until it's too late, until you burn bridges that you can't rebuild, until you squandered opportunities that you can't go back and take advantage of, and all of these things. And you know, I don't even know what I would say could have saved or fixed Molly and Issa from this situation, besides the fact that if you are friends with people that are not growing with you, that are not cultivating what you're doing, then you're going to run into scenarios where y'all are going to have friction, and then y'all going to end up going separate ways, because it's just inevitable that, two cannot walk. The Bible says two cannot walk together unless they agree. And that is imperative when you are trying to ascend, when you are trying to be a person that is going forward with, aspirations and endeavors, and you're persevering, because this crap is hard, man. Like, people don't understand. Like, one of my biggest Achilles heels is when it comes to treating myself like a client, or treating myself like I do somebody I would be producing. I'm terrible. I hate having to focus on myself being the primary subject. But I also know that I have learned a lot of stuff along the way that allows other people to bypass those pitfalls, bypass those stagnated moments in your journey. And it's imperative for me to share that, because that's what the whole point of growing is to be able to turn around and say to someone else, this is what you can expect. This is what you can do to maximize your process, your journey. This is what you can do to make sure that life at its greatest point is something that you can spend more time on the positive and less time on the negative. So, I'm looking at this show. I'm looking at, Insecure, and I love the name too, because it deals with all of our insecurities. We all have insecurities. And I don't want to make Molly just to seem like she's she's just a bad person, because they did not start out like this. But when we have insecurities about somebody else taking my place, or you outgrowing me, you out no longer needing me, you no longer being available, we stop trusting the foundation of what we built with each other. And that's the thing about friendships and growing, is that, in the end, you got to know what you built. If you built something sound, something real, then you don't have to worry about when the rain and the storms come, or when tests and trials come. It will withstand everything. See, it's easy to look at a house when there's nothing but sunny and sunshine and weather and all that. You won't know if there's a leak. You won't know if the walls are strong. You won't know if the foundation is set right until an earthquake comes, or till a tornado hits the area, or dire winds come through, or maybe a hurricane, or some bad ice storm, or anything that disrupts the normal day-to-day of what's going on around that house. You won't know. You'll never know in perfect weather. A lot of people can survive in perfect weather. It's the storms that we don't survive. And that's where Issa and Molly are right now, because at this point, nobody knows if they'll survive. Will they find their way back to each other? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But you got to be willing to know that if it does not turn around, I got to stay on this mission, man. I got to stay growing. I got to stay going the right way. You know what I mean? And man, like, even in my situation, man, we got to the point where it was thriving, man. I mean, man, like the opportunities we were having, the things I was trying, we were building, and I was working on, and I was running ahead, doing my part to ensure that things were, in place. During that time, man, it was a lot of insecurities going on. It was a lot of insecurities, man. I mean, man, I turned around when I turned around and I looked up, man. I didn't recognize the behaviors of any of those guys, man. And it was, and I mean the head of the mutiny was like my right hand, supposedly. And it took me, man, it took me. I'm still, man, like honestly, I still got PTSD about some of that stuff, man. I mean it really changed me in the fact of allowing myself to let people into that area ever again. Man, for the fact of you, and the thing about it is I never asked anything of them. It was a relationship where, man, like I just enjoyed seeing the things that we were building get built because that's my purpose. That's what I got out of it. None of them jokers never, put a dollar in my pocket. A lot of people, look at stuff and you provide stuff for people, and it's on a tip where people think you owe them something versus where, they should go out and get your own. Like if somebody gives you an opportunity, that does not mean that it is their responsibility to take care of you. That's not how that works, man. Like it is your responsibility to take care of whatever yourself needs. That is on you. I don't care what nobody say. And for somebody who may be young or you may be in your 20s and you're still at home with your mom and dad and you don't want nobody to tell you nothing, it is no longer their responsibility. Success, you have to be free for you to succeed completely. If your parents feel like you still need to be taken care of, they're going to treat you accordingly. Their actions are going to treat you like you still need to be taken care of. Now, I'm not talking about you needing help. I'm talking about you needing everyday parenting and somebody to provide for you. And that goes in your business relationships. That goes into your work relationships. If I got to be concerned about you every time we go out to do a project or for us to do something, because I feel like if I don't get an extra burger, you won't have anything to eat. Or if I don't come back, if I don't do this, if I don't run your copies, then you're gonna get chewed out in the meeting. Then you're looking like, why didn't you just run me some? No, man, like, bruh. Successful people learn how to thrive in solitude, man. It's just how it is. It's just how it goes. I can't wait around for anybody to just tell me what needs to be done. If I do, I'm dependent on somebody. You didn't tell me that I should have cleaned the tables or I should have organized the equipment room or that I should have went and found some new clients. I thought you were going to do it. You're an independent. And see, that's where, a lot of times relationships change when you stop being a dependent. And Molly is a person who, as a friend, had became very comfortable with Issa being a dependent. Some people are always going to want you to depend on them. They want you to feel like you can't be happy if they not there. They don't want you to have fun if they not there. You can't go try no new food or experiences if they aren't there. I can't believe you went without me. I can't believe you did this without me. Why won't we just go back and do it together? Yeah. Okay. But a lot of times the hindrance that we see as people comes from the people that's closest to us. And man, like, man, Issa, man, they wrote the heck out of this season right here, man, because it's some real stuff, man. It shows you how fragile, relationships can be. You can be straight 2 months ago, and now new scenarios have popped up, and we struggling, man, because I don't want to adapt, and I don't want you to adapt, or I don't want you to evolve, or you don't want me to evolve. And, that's not how things should be. That's not how things should be built, man. If you haven't seen Insecure, man, I want you to check it out. It's on HBO. Man, this is season 4. I heard they already got renewed for season 5, as they should. Man, they are creating incredible conversations like this. They are creating a beautiful experience for you to watch. Shout out again to Issa Rae, Stella. I think her name is McGahee, who are doing some wonderful things. And everybody that's on the cast and crew of Insecure, man, bravo. Bravo. I love it. I love, media or content that makes me think about the life I'm living. I don't ever want to get so comfortable that I don't check myself at what I got going on and what I'm doing. And this latest season, man, has really just caused me to look at some of the people that I'm in relationships with, man. Am I enabling you to be a dependent? Or are you walking independently? And if you are, am I okay with you doing that? Or do I want you to stay a dependent? Like, those things are real, man. We should be able to walk freely and independently in all relationships. What makes it beautiful is that we choose to do it together. So if we choose to walk together, it's because we both want to. And that's what makes it special. Because out of all the things in the world we could be doing, we choose to build these relationships with those people. Man, I just had to get on the mic, man. I know this is an unscheduled podcast, but this is a bonus episode, I guess you could say. We're going to call it a bonus. And, man, I may be doing these more throughout the podcast, man. Thank you for listening and watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, or shout out to the Patreon Nation, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm claiming it that we'll be able to fund all of these projects and ideas that I have. My daughter was telling me, she said, "Daddy, I don't know why you haven't done any more short films lately. You should be doing more movies." And I want to. I want to hire actors. I want to hire craft services. I want to hire, set people and just all the things that go into it, marketing and people. I want to give opportunities, man. Tyler Perry has sparked so much in me, and I appreciate that, man. I just want to see people succeed, man. I want to see people grow. People focus too much on the negative in life, man. And, a lot of times the issue that comes along with it is that we don't spend enough time building ourselves to just have positive things to focus on. Everybody needs something that you can focus on that'll give you a win, that will give you some type of way for you to want to jump out of bed in the morning and go do it all over again. So, keep me in your mind and your thoughts and your prayers, man, because I'm really wanting to build something, because we're in a very strategic time where, man, anything is possible. You just got to be consistent. You got to stay ready, and you got to be willing to do the work, man. And I'm check box on all 3 of those. So I just need to keep going, and I got to keep doing these things, man, and building out and putting out content. But until next time, man, thank you for tuning in to The World According to Lo. It's your boy Lo, man, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hey.